World War II was won by superior weapons and the men who used them. But not every weapon was a masterpiece. Some were obsolete before they fired a shot. Others were engineering disasters. These 10 weapons failed their users when it mattered most. This is the countdown of the worst weapons of the war. Number 10. Type 94 Tankette. Japan called it a Tankette. Everyone else called it a death trap. The Type 94 Tankette weighed only 3 tons. It had armor thinner than a car door. A single machine gun was its only weapon. American soldiers discovered that regular rifle bullets could penetrate the armor. Heavy machine guns tore through them like paper. In the Philippines, American forces knocked out Tankettes with Molotov cocktails. Fire spread faster than anyone imagined. By 1942, Japan stopped using them in frontline combat. Number 10 shows that sometimes having a tank is worse than having no tank at all. Number 9. Brewster F2A Buffalo. The Buffalo was America's first monoplane carrier fighter. It looked modern in 1939. By 1941, it was a flying coffin. The Navy quietly gave Buffaloes to the Marines and kept the better Wildcats for themselves. Marine Fighter Squadron 221 flew Buffaloes at the Battle of Midway on June 4, 1942. 0 fighters escorted Japanese bombers. This was the moment that sealed the Buffalo's fate. In 15 minutes of combat, the Marines lost 13 of 21 Buffaloes. Only 2 pilots survived without injury. One survivor said the Buffalo could not turn, could not climb, and could not run. Number 8. Cruiser Tank, Mark V. Covenanter, Britain needed cruiser tanks that were fast and reliable. The Covenanter was neither. The engine cooling system did not work. Engines overheated constantly. Tanks broke down on training exercises, on roads, even sitting still. The British Army ordered 1,700 Covenanters. Not a single one ever saw combat. The cooling problem could not be fixed without a complete redesign. By 1943, most were scrapped. The Covenanter wasted British industrial capacity building tanks that contributed nothing to victory. Number 7. Douglas B-18 Bolo Bomber. The B-18 Bolo was America's modern bomber in 1937. By 1941, it was hopelessly obsolete. It was slow, poorly armed, and vulnerable. On December 7, 1941, Japanese aircraft destroyed or damaged 33 B-18s on the ground in Hawaii and the Philippines. What happened next showed the desperation of early war America. The Army converted B-18s to anti-submarine patrol aircraft. Several were shot down by German fighters over the Caribbean. The B-18 represents the danger of keeping obsolete equipment in service. Crews died flying planes that should never have been in combat. Number 6. M3 Lee Grant Medium Tank. American tank designers created the M3 Lee in 1940. They made one catastrophic decision. The main 75mm gun was mounted in the hull, not a turret. This meant the entire tank had to turn to aim the gun. But this is where everything went wrong. The tall profile made the Lee easy to spot and hit. The hull gun had limited traverse. British forces used it in North Africa. German gunners loved them. The high silhouette made excellent target practice. Crews called it a death trap. Number 6 proves that compromise in tank design usually means compromise in crew survival. Number 5. Infantry Tank Mark I Matilda. Britain designed the Matilda wand in the 1930s for infantry support. It had excellent armor for its time. But it had a critical flaw. The only weapon was a single machine gun. No cannon, no anti-tank capability. The Matilda I weighed 11 tons. All that weight protected a 2-man crew and 1 machine gun. When Germany invaded France in 1940, British forces brought Matildas. Then came the moment of truth. German tanks had cannons. The Matilda had a machine gun. It could not damage German tanks. German tanks destroyed Matildas easily. The British lost most at Dunkirk. The WWII represents designing weapons for the last war instead of the current one. Number 4. Messerschmitt BF-110. Heavy fighter Germany designed the BF-110 as a heavy fighter to escort bombers deep into enemy territory. Twin engines gave it range. Heavy guns gave it firepower. In theory, it was perfect. In practice, it was a disaster. The Battle of Britain exposed the BF-110's fatal weakness. It was slower and less maneuverable than single-engine fighters. British Spitfires and Hurricanes tore into BF-110 formations. What happened next shocked the Luftwaffe. The BF-110s needed fighter escorts themselves. The aircraft meant to protect bombers required protection. On August 15, 1940, a single raid lost 16 BF-110s. Number 4 shows that paper specifications mean nothing against real combat. Number 3. HMS Repulse battlecruiser. Repulse was a World War I battlecruiser built for speed over protection. She was fast, but had thin armor. By 1941, she was outdated and lacked modern anti-aircraft weapons. Sending her to fight Japan was a death sentence. Prime Minister Winston Churchill ordered Repulse and HMS Prince of Wales to Singapore in December 1941. On December 10th, Japanese torpedo bombers found the ships. Repulse dodged 19 torpedoes through skillful maneuvering. Then came the hit that sealed her fate. Torpedo 20 struck her rudder. 4 more torpedoes followed in quick succession. The hull split and the end came fast. Repulse capsized and sank in minutes. 513 men died. It was the first time aircraft alone sank a capital ship underway in open water. Repulse proved that the age of the battleship was over. Number 2. Type 95 Hago light tank. Japan's Type 95 Hago was the most produced Japanese tank of the war. It weighed only 7 tons. Its 37mm gun could barely damage enemy tanks. Its armor was 14 millimeters at best. American .50 caliber machine guns could penetrate it. The Hago worked well in China against infantry. Then Japan fought America. This is where the nightmare truly began. At Tarawa, in November 1943, 14 Hago tanks counterattacked U.S. Marines. All 14 were destroyed in minutes. The same story repeated across the Pacific. At Saipan, Guam, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa, Japanese tank attacks ended in slaughter. The Hago could not penetrate Sherman armor. Shermans destroyed Hagos effortlessly. Number 2 killed more of its own crews through obsolescence than any other tank in the war. Number 1. USS Arizona's fatal design. Arizona was not a bad battleship when built in 1916, but by 1941, she represented everything wrong with outdated naval design. She was slow. Her deck armor was too thin to stop armor-piercing bombs. Her anti-aircraft defenses were inadequate. On December 7, 1941, Japanese dive bombers attacked Pearl Harbor. At 8:06 a.m., a single 1,760-pound armor-piercing bomb struck Arizona near Turret 2. One hit was all it took. The bomb penetrated the deck and detonated in the forward magazine, where over 1 million pounds of gunpowder was stored. The explosion came in seconds. Arizona erupted in a massive fireball visible across the harbor. The blast lifted the entire bow out of the water. The forward half of the ship disintegrated. The hull split, and the end came in 9 minutes. Arizona sank with 1,177 men still inside. It was the single greatest loss of life on any U.S. warship in history. The battleship still sits on the harbor floor today. Over 900 crew members remain entombed inside. Number 1 represents the deadliest design flaw in naval history. Magazine protection was inadequate. A single bomb in the wrong place killed more Americans than any other weapon malfunction in the war. Arizona was not alone. HMS Hood exploded the same way. But Arizona's death in harbor, caught unprepared, made it worse. Its wreck still tells the story of what happens when old weapons meet modern war.